Hey guys, this is Reddy from Wealthy Options. Welcome to 23rd episode of 0DTE Pulse. Today is SENSEX Expiry. So today SENSEX took traders, for a ride. It went for a wild moves. So we'll get into the details, one by one. So first of all, SENSEX as an underlying, it kind of, opened almost flat with a mild gap up, and from there, first 45 minutes was kind of a volatile day. But there was a decent, support from the premium point of view, though the premium that opened and that was available at 916 was we can say it's a low premium. And by the way, let's look at the straddle premium chart. So the straddle ATM straddle opened at almost like a 420 or something, actually at 915 with no overnight decay. But for all the practical purpose, as most of the people initiate the trades around 916, the premium available at 916 was around 350. So 350 is a less premium for SENSEX. Ideally, for SENSEX, I think I would expect the premium to be anywhere around 420. At least the 400 should be the decent premium, right? So 300 premium is a less premium, so we started the day with a low premium. But if you see, the straddle premium kept falling. So there was a nice decay in the premium for the up to 10:30. So after that, there was no much premium. So let's look at the underlying now, and then we'll come back to straddle premium as well. Now, if you see, first 45 minutes was kind of volatile because it went up and then came down, and again it started going up. But because there was a support from the straddle premium as the premiums were dropping, so this particular move took out some of the strategies whatever I deployed with the small stop losses between the 916 to 930. So those stop losses call stop losses got hit, and then SENSEX reversed, but the put stop losses were there in the system because of the theta decay. So these put stop losses they were not hit. So because of that, there was no major damage in the first 45 minutes. And at the same time, I also had some aggressive strategies, which will mainly work for a theta decay with, big stop losses and different setups. So those are the ones, continue to capture the theta decay, and, they started making a decent profit. So basically, the day started getting into the profit. So with small, like 0.1, 0.2, that's how it started. And then so at up to 10:30, so this, if you look at, the technically speaking, SENSEX started making a ascending triangle pattern. So it tried to go up again, and it couldn't able to break the day high, and then it couldn't break the low also. It's kind of it formed a pattern of what people call it as, technically we can call it as ascending triangle, right? And this is how it started making ascending triangle pattern. And what happened is, so if you look at this particular line, this is the day high of today for SENSEX. So SENSEX tried to make a pattern like, it started making a higher top and higher bottom. So it was kind of giving an impression like, it's going to break day high at some point of day, and it will, probably continue. But, being a system trader, we just follow the system. This chart, because I've been looking at these charts from 2010, it's my habit to, look at the price action, every day. And so at this particular time, so though it made a multiple attempts, but around 11:30, it decisively broke the day high, and then it started, kept going up. So by this time, I was in a decent profit, almost like, I think by this time I was in a profit of almost like a 0.4%. I'll show you the MTM graph later, almost like a 0.4%. But then when it broke, it started hitting some of the big stop losses also. And this candle gave a kind of impression like it may reverse, but so it's a clear breakout of the day high, and then it kept going up, and especially from here, the candle's size started becoming quite big, from 1220 onwards. The SENSEX picked up the momentum. It started going up very fast, and finally it touched the it tested yesterday high. This particular candle is yesterday high. So yesterday candle was quite a big candle, so the range was so high, so it tested yesterday high, and during this time, so in this process, all the call SLs, so no calls sold left out. I mean, all the call SLs got hit, and I was sitting with only the puts. And obviously, when there was a fear like if there is a big reversal, so it can give a big dent. So by the time it took out, I mean, all my call stop losses, so my MTM almost came to flat. So I was at break even here, and then slightly started going into the negative, and then this consolidation, it was like MTM was swinging between break even or minor loss or minor profit. That's how it was going in. So in the meantime, the strategies entered, I mean, after early forenoon, something like 10:30, 11:30, whatever, those timings and all. So they started making some profits on the put side, but any reversal, I know that that will damage them. And strategies, I mean, afternoon also they started taking the entries after 12:30, especially the entries after 12:30 and all, because because the premium was because of this spike and short covering in the call options, this resulted in a IV spike. So the entries I got it around probably when 12:20, 12:30, I mean, during those times, they got a very good premium as the premium started cooling off. So I'll show you here. So this is where I'm talking about. So if you see from 10:30, the premium was around 200 levels, and that 200 level was maintained up to 130. So literally speaking, there was no decay up to 130 at all. Not only that, in between, the straddle premium also shot up to almost like a 250 levels, which is almost like a if you see 250 levels, almost like a 25% hike in rise in the straddle premium. So this is when most of the call stop losses got hit, but at the same time, the entries, especially the few IV shorting setups, whatever I had, they also entered, and along with the regular ones, so they got the advantage of good premium. So they by the end, actually those are the ones helped me to close the day in the break even. And from 130 onwards, it's a gradual decay, and from 220 or 240 onwards, it's an aggressive decay. So I would say from 130, so the actual decay started, but this decay I'll show you in the chart. So it came with the directional move. So if you see here, so up to 130, so it was consolidating after a big move, and the premium was not melting. Mainly, I think it could be because it's consolidating. So you never know, the next move will be either on the upside or on the downside. Generally, so during these phases, so premiums will hold up because a breakout can happen either on the upside or downside. So once that breakout happens, the risk is happened. So once that risk is happened, then usually the premium starts dropping. So that's exactly happened at from 130 onwards. So but unfortunately, what happened, so by this time, most of the morning entries, whatever I entered here, so they all those call stop losses were hit. Only the put stop losses, puts were there in the system. Even the entries after 11 o'clock, which entered 81,500, 81,600, so those which are close to the spot, so they I had them in the system. So if Sensex had given a breakout and went further, so it would have been good, because all those puts would have become zero. But Sensex had other plans. It in fact started falling down. So it came down almost like a from the day high, it came down to by 300 points. So what this particular move did is premium started dropping, but overall straddle. But the problem is, the put stop losses, most of the puts, whatever I had it in my system, so they have hit the trailing stop losses, or some of them, few of them with the normal stop losses. This is when my MTM went from break even to almost like a minus 0.35%. So at this particular point, so luckily it did not go further, and went all the way up to day low. So but even if it had gone that far, so maybe still the day would have been a break even, because the strategies which my system has, which started entering from 12:30 onwards, I mean those puts stop losses are also hit. So I had a decent number of calls here. Okay, those calls started making a profit because this move came with the the decay in the premium as well, right? So and then so this is not the end again. Sensex started, it gave a clear V shape and it went up by another 250 points. So if you see, I mean, from the day start, so Sensex shot up by 450 points and then came down by 300 points, which is 750 points, and then this swing again 250. It's a total swing of 1000 points when straddle premium was pricing a 350 at 916. So ideally, I mean, this is not a any rule or something actually. So when straddle premium is at 916 is pricing at 350 in general, that means that so the options are pricing a underlying move of almost like around 350 on the either side, right? So it can happen with range bound or with the volatility, but that's how it is. But if you see the actual move, so for 350 premium, the move was almost like a 1000 points, which is definitely, it makes it very difficult for the traders, whether you are a discretionary or even if you are a algo trader. So for discretionary, it's different. I mean, when you have this kind of a move problem and you can close the rest of the puts and then start taking the new positions, and so for discretionary it's different case. But when you have when you are algo trader, so these are the days slightly difficult because the premium was low and then the underlying was also wild and it was volatile as well, right? So at the end of the day, so this particular move happened. So during this move, so some of the call stop losses were hit, and but I still had an entries, I mean, after 2 o'clock also aggressively. So those entries, I mean, started making a profit, and especially, I mean, this consolidation after 240. So this started, this actually helped for a greater extent of a recovery. In the end, after all the roller coaster ride, so this particular account ended with a profit of very tiny, 4,700 rupees, and this particular account with 9,400, and there is another account, this one ended in loss, with a minor loss of 2,700 rupees. So overall, the day ended with a profit of 11k. I would consider, I mean, 11k is a very, very tiny profit on my capital size. So I mean, it works out like a 0.03%. I mean, I would consider today as a break-even day, so no profit or no loss day, and a month is still 0.2%, and the drawdown is still pretty much in control of just minus 0.35%. So that's how the day ended with break-even. So honestly, I mean, given this kind of a volatility and less premium, I would say, I mean, it's a okay-ish day. So it closed at break-even, and as I promised, this is how the MTM swing. So as I told you, I mean, when the first couple of hours when the day was smooth, my profit went almost up to kind of a 0.4%, right? And then that reversal took away all the profits, and then so it was the MTM was fluctuating around break even, and during this particular down move, so I mean, my losses started increasing up to 0.35%, and then finally this particular recovery, and along with this aggressive decay in the straddle premium, it helped me to close the day at break even, right? So I think that's all pretty much I wanted to cover. I hope this content is useful. And today, I mean, I was basically, I mean, I tried to cover some of the technical aspects as well. And just one more point I wanted to say is, so when the day high breaks decisively with this kind of a candle clearly closing, so the probability, I mean, technically the probability of going up is high, right? And then so you see this particular candle, whenever the day high breaks, so when the Sensex reverses, so this particular high will ideally act as a support, if the Sensex falls again. So I mean, it's not a rule like every time it has to take a support, but technically it acts like a support. So far it was a resistance, and when the resistance was broken decisively, it will act like a support. So that's exactly happened here. So but it went a little bit down, and generally when this is how it will shake the the weak hands and all, and then starts moving in the original direction. So technically, I mean, so it took the support and went there. So that was probably one of the good reason for ending the day with the break even. So in between, during these videos, I'll also share my technical knowledge, technical analysis knowledge also to you, so which might be useful. Otherwise, the straddle premium and how it behaves, and how the IV shoots up, and how my strategies, I mean different strategies at different times they behave, I usually share it anyway. And also last but not least, generally, I mean, what happened is, I mean, the over and by and large, the strategies which I entered in the morning, up to probably noon, I think by and large they ended in loss, means small loss. And the strategies which I think which entered by my system after 1:30, some of them even from 12:30, I mean especially the IV shorting strategies, I mean, which got the good premium, and also the strategies which I entered from which system entered from 1:30 onwards. So they gave they recovered the losses from the morning, and also the early morning also, and late morning sessions. So this 1:30 onwards, I mean, they recovered the losses. So that's how the day went in detail. So hope you are finding this content useful, and if you really like this content, give a thumbs up and share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.